It is amazing to me to have seen this animal in life and then to see what's left over. Welcome to Mossback's Northwest. This week we're at the Burke Museum and we're in the collection that holds mammals.
But look at that face. Isn't he a fine fellow?
So in the 1950s and 60s, the biggest celebrities in Seattle were animals. Bobo the gorilla at Woodland Park Zoo, most famous person, put that in quotes, in Seattle of his time. Another huge celebrity came to town in 1965. It was Namu the killer whale.
Make room in your heart for a 6-ton pet. He's the biggest hero in the whole wide world of adventure.
Aquariums and marine show places were popping up all over the country, and a local man named Ted Griffin got his hands on an orca named Namu, who was captured up in British Columbia. When he first got to Seattle, we went down to the waterfront. There he was in a small pen that was next to the dock, the first live captive killer whale. And he didn't have any room to swim. He basically just kind of would come to the surface and take a breath and then sink back down. There were animal activists in 1965 and after who came down and picketed, but people were also enchanted by Namu.
The moment that orcas become individuals to us, with names, with personalities, it's important for people's perception of them as sentient social creatures.
You feed him his lunch, all right? I've called to him.
Namu! Here's your lunch.
He's joking!
The movie comes out. Namu was a huge hit. Unfortunately, the real Namu lived for about a year in captivity and died right before the movie came out. But the cause of death was determined to be a bacterial infection that was caused by sewage that was in the polluted Elliott Bay. Public opinion about killer whales really started to shift. People realized, well, these aren't just killers. These animals, they have a social life, they have a language. And so people began to understand killer whales better. And it generated a lot more sympathy for them. And that in turn raised questions about whether they ought to be captured in the first place. We're no longer capturing killer whales, but we've learned that the southern population that comes down to Puget Sound is at its lowest point in about 30 years. They're down to about 30 members. They're starving. They're not breeding. So the irony is that, we sort of set Willie free, but into an environment where we're impacting their very existence. This artifact here, this is Namu's skull. Seeing the jaws and the teeth and everything up close just give you a great appreciation for the kind of complexity that these animals reflect.